Hello and welcome back to more Collect All Pets. Today is a very special video. I worked very hard on this video, so if you guys can give me a like or sub, that would be fantastic, because today we are going over every single exotic pet, and we're going to be ranking them, well, not ranking them, but hopefully giving you a better idea to strategize on which one you want to choose. Now, how I've done this is I've broken the game down into 3 different eras. So to try to keep this simple and more eligible, I've broken them down, like I said, broke down the game into 3 different eras. So the first era is the 10K pet score era. So this is the first kind of era you're kind of striving through to get 10,000 pet score and get into the generator and the calcification station, all that good stuff. So that's the first era that we're going to be kind of ranking these guys on, and then I'm going to go explain the second era, which is the wheel era. This wheel era is the second era of the game. You're going to be on the wheel trying to get, your Mets and your Metallics and your shiny score up, stuff like that, getting ready for the next era, which is the mine era. So those are the 3 eras: 10K pet score, the wheel era, and the mine era. All right, so let's go ahead and see how these guys stack up against each of these eras and how they help you to get through those. So the first one is Flutter. Let's go ahead and we're just going to go down the line. So we're starting with Flutter. Flutter gives you plus 15% egg luck. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the first era and see how Flutter can help you through that. Now, there's multiple ways. I think she, or I guess he, whichever, this bug helps you get through that era. One of them is obviously getting those mythical stones and getting a little bit of extra bonus pet score. Now, pet score definitely is best to be getting through by rebirthing and discovering new pets, and you get, your pet score quicker that way. But it's really hard to get those last mythicals, I would say, over here when you're trying to fill up the Pokedex or whatever you want to call it, when you're trying to get another rebirth done to advance your pet score even more to 10K. So Flutter really helps you when you're grinding those projects to not spend as much, and you can get those mythicals filled out a little bit quicker as well to help you get your pet score higher. So Flutter gets a good point for the first era. Now moving on to the second era, which is the wheel era. Flutter, this is where she really shines, because you're really trying to get those mythical stones so that you can max out your metallic altar, which is a big chunk of the game. It helps obviously towards that, but also it actually helps even towards the next era, which I'm going to mention in a second, which is the mine era. You're really trying to build up those shiny skins to increase your damage so you're ready for the mine. Now, when we get to the mine, which is the next era for Flutter, she doesn't help as much with that era. But she still does, because you need obviously still more mythical stones to get your strikes up and all that good stuff. And like I said, she doesn't help as much, and that's just because you're not on the wheel. You're only generating 5 pets per second max, but you still, like I said, need those mythical stones to help you get upgrades in the mine. So Flutter is a really good choice, I think. Now let's go ahead and move on. We're going to kind of go quickly, because otherwise this is going to be a really long video. Battack, he's the next one. So he gives you 30% attack rate. So let's go ahead and take a look at him in the first era and see how he helps you. So I think he does help you quite a bit towards the 10K pet score, because it is kind of a struggle to make money at the beginning. Now, the thing is, though, is your damage personally does not really affect that much of your money per second. It does a little bit, so I mean, it's kind of iffy with Battack in the first era. He kind of helps, not as much, I would say, in the first era. But moving on to the second era, which is the wheel era, it's kind of similar. At this point, you're kind of making enough money to, I mean, he does help, because sometimes it is a struggle to run those project eggs or those ascended eggs at 5 pets per second, and the attack rate will definitely help with that, as well as it helps maybe boost your exotic score a little bit, I would say, maybe. Just a little bit, I would say. So he definitely is more of like a money money person. He like helps make you more money per second. So in the first 2 eras, I mean, money is crucial, but you can make money by other people, I would say. So he's not as good in those first 2 eras, but moving on to the mine era is where he really shines, because when you're in the mine era, your pets aren't moving a whole lot. They're not transitioning to one crystal to the next as much because they're on these giant crystals. So attack speed is going to really boost your money, which will in turn allow you to overclock and boost your giants way faster. So you do want to keep that in mind for Battack. He's really good for those reasons. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next one is Radi, plus 2.5% clone luck. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at Radi in the first era, 10k pet score. Now, when you get a clone that goes through, it doesn't necessarily give you another discovered pet, but Radi still helps you on the higher end of the pets. So when you get a clone luck on a Project Egg, you're going to get 2, which is going to help you in turn kind of like save you money, I guess, in a way, as well as get you to the mythicals quicker, and so you can fill out your pet decks faster, so you can rebirth faster at the same time. So she does technically help at the beginning, get you to 10k pet score, plus you are still grinding mythical stones, so she helps towards mythical stones and shiny, your shiny luck as well, or you get more shinies as well, because you get more shiny skins if a clone goes through. So you have to keep that in mind. Now let's move on to the wheel era. Now this is where Radi really shines in the wheel era. Because you're on that cogwheel, you're running your 6.5 pets per second, and clone luck is going to be really triggering more and more often during this era. And then not only that, but it helps towards shiny skins, shiny score, metallic, because there's that one upgrade in the lab that, when a clone luck goes through, it higher your chance of getting a metallic to go through. And then also as well, if you get a clone luck on an ingot, you get 2 ingots, so she's even kind of building you, saving you up stuff for the next era, which we're going to get into, which is the mine era. And she kind of takes a little bit of a step back, because if you do it right and you're playing the game right, your metallics, you should already have all your metallics filled up, all 1,200 of them filled up. So when you get into the mine, this should be already done. So she doesn't help towards that anymore, but like I said, with the other guys, when you get into the mine, you still need a lot of those metallic, or those mythical stones, and she's really going to help with those mythical stones, but just a little bit less, because you're only going to be running 5 pets per second instead of the 6.5 pets per second while you're in the mine. So she kind of takes a little bit of a step back in the mine, but is still helpful in the mine as well. All right. Moving on to Nova. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first era, which is 10,000 pet score. How will this help? Now, during this, it's kind of similar to how Battack is. It's only going to really be helping your money per second and help you afford those Project Eggs more often to get those mythical stones, and help towards your rebirth room, because there are upgrades in the rebirth room that help you get or discover new pets quicker as well. So it's kind of an indirect buff for the 10k pet score. Otherwise, she does not really help that much, other than making money and getting those wall upgrades, stuff like that. And then also the passive you get from Prosperous Grounds, which is the exotic score money booster. So she does help like that. So it's just another money upgrade to help you kind of get through the 10k pet score era. So there's that. And then moving on to the cogwheel era, I honestly do think this will help you quite a bit, because in this era you're trying to build up your metallic score. You're getting more and more exotic crystal chance. Like right now with mine completely full, I think it's at exotic crystal luck is at 52% when you're maxed out. So during the wheel era, it's going to make you more money. It's going to have you get your exotic score, which will in turn be another multiplier of money when you get to the next era, which is the mine. So again, it's just more and more money to set you up for the mine, basically. So she's not as good in the wheel era, but once you get to the mine, she seems pretty useless as well. But you do have that passive income from your exotic crystal score. So just keep that in mind. She's a bit of a rough upgrade here, but still not terrible. All right, so let's move on to Wing Bolt. So this is the first one that's gonna just straight up not help you at all in the 10K pet score era because you don't have the generator yet. So be aware of that. Wing Bolt won't really help you at all until you get to the wheel era. So let's go ahead and skip right to the wheel era. This is where he really shines. He's going to put that 6.5 pets per second and boost it right up to 7 pets per second and really help you get those metallics, get those mythical stones, and get that shiny score up and those shiny skins up as well. So he does help with all that, so he really shines during the wheel era. And then kind of like how Radi does, he kind of takes a little bit of a, well, it seems like he takes a little bit of a step back in the mine, but if you think about it mathematically, 0.5 pets per second extra on top of just 5 pets per second, because when you're in the mine, you're only going to be grinding 5 pets per second. That's an additional 10% boost of your pets per second. So while you're just, getting that passive income for the mythical stones in the mine from your generator, he's going to give you an additional 10% on the mythical stones and your shiny score and your shiny skins. So he's still really useful in the mine as well. It just kind of sucks that he doesn't help at all before 10,000 pet score. So just keep that in mind for Wing Bolt. All right, moving on to Grim. Grim, he is plus 20% calcification luck. Now he's pretty deceiving. Now you got to be careful because he is super good in the 10K pet score era because, like I said, you get those pets. You do get pet score from getting mythicals. Oh wait, so he doesn't actually help towards pet score. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just the straight up raw mythical stones that you're gonna get in the 10K pet score, so you can afford more of the upgrades more or early on in the rebirth room. So he kind of indirectly helps towards pets 10K pet score, but not very much. So keep that in mind before you buy this guy. So let's move on to the next era, which is the wheel era. He does seem like he does shine quite a bit in the wheel era because you can get that 6.5 pets per second. And you're grinding those mythical stones. You really need those mythical stones in this era. But keep in mind with the lab, with these 3 upgrades or organic recycling 1, 2, and 3, you can get your calcification luck up to 260%. So with this guy, he'll put you at 280% total, and so you are getting a little bit more of a boost towards your mythical stones, so that does help, but just keep that in mind that you can already get 260 versus 280, which is not that much of a boost, even though it seems like 20% is a lot. All right, moving on to the mine era. He does obviously help towards the mine era because you still need a lot of the mythical stones when you're in the mine. So he's going to help you with that, and it's not going to help as much because you're not going to be generating 6.5 pets per second. You're only going to be generating the 5 pets per second, so your calcification isn't going to be going through as often, but he does still help in that era. So moving on to Hoppity. Now this is another kind of occurrence that he had, but these last 2 guys are even kind of worse because they don't even help during the wheel era. So they don't help until you get into the mine. But what they've done to help these guys is the boost that you get, the 0.2 mining speed per second, doesn't seem like a whole lot, but if you actually take a look down here, well, I'm in the mine and I've already kind of gotten almost as far as I want to go with all my upgrades here, but if you look here, I'm only at 0.63%, or not percent up, strikes per second. So if you were to add 0.2% or 0.2 strikes per second, that's basically 20 upgrades worth. And if you look at my next upgrade, it costs like 800,000. So just getting an additional 20 upgrades, that would be an insane amount of mythical stones I'm going to be saving on my strike speed. And the strike speed also affects every single one of these percentages. It boosts every single one. So you have to keep that in mind as well. So Hoppity doesn't seem like he helps that much, especially because he doesn't help until the mine, and the upgrade doesn't seem that high of a boost, but he does really help you a lot with everything in the mine, basically. So he's a really good option for that. Moving on to Trunky. Now, this one is plus 5% on double strikes. So let's go down here once again and look at my double strikes and see where that's at, because it doesn't seem like a great upgrade, especially since he doesn't help you until you get to the mine era. But right now I'm sitting at 17%, 17.75%, and it's 750,000 mythical stones. So if I had an additional 5%, it's going to save me so much mythical stones, and it's actually worth 25 upgrades just for the 5%. So with that all being said, those last two really help you boost in the mine. And the mine era is probably almost just as long as the wheel era, so just keep that in mind for these guys when you eventually maybe want to invest in those guys. So there is all those guys. I'm not going to really go over. Now you have to keep in mind, like going from here to here, he doubles your your amount. But then if you look at Wing Bolt, I guess he doubles it too. Let's look at Flutter. So Flutter initially gives you plus 15%, but then the second upgrade, or the second evolution, only gives you an additional 5%. So that's not as much of a boost. And then 30 to 20%, it's only a 20% boost instead of and when you initially buy, you get a 30% boost, stuff like that. So you just want to keep in mind when you're looking at the second evolution and then the third evolution as well, before you make your full decision on making those kind of upgrades. So hopefully this video helped you guys decide on which pet you want to select when you are ascending. I might make another video maybe kind of going over these, but I just really wanted to go over every single one of these guys. So hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.